Hello, ladies and germs. It is I, Soy, and we're gonna play. Some Ace Attorney. That's the plan. That's the plan, unless somebody tells me, that's not the plan. But as far as I'm concerned, that is the plan. That is the plan. The plan is to do exactly that. Looks like it's a quiet evening down there in Chatville. So guess what? I'm gonna be talking to myself a lot, and it's gonna be wonderful. Because I know exactly what I want to hear.
Happened, and you only had one back.
Well, there you go. Escape route's still going. And Sushi's asking like a ton of questions that basically means she's out of questions. So, that's great. Alright. Go. We're going to play the game. And if nobody shows up, then guess what? That means that I get to do this all by myself and talk to myself for 2 hours. But no, Mats is here. Mats and potentially Mrs. Mats. I don't know, we'll see. How you doing there, Mats? I'm okay, but it's hot in here. I don't know why it's so hot. It's not hot outside, but it's hot inside. What is the dealio? I do not understand. But anyhow, we have to get into a trial. It's the final day of trials. There are no more trials to be had. She's sleeping. Wake up, it's soy time! Wake up, it's soy time! It's time for soy! I think everybody's asleep. It's too hot for everybody and they've all fallen asleep. That's okay. I can still go. That's okay. This means Mats gets all my attention and affection. Something's been happening behind the scenes. Who said that? Oh, good. Yeah, Sushi Sunshine, hello. I saw that you were asking Escape Route a ton of questions, and I saw there was a certain point where you just ran out of questions. So you were just asking complete and utter repetitive questions. Hello, Matzo, hello, Jub, and hello, Escape Route. You're like, what do you think about so-and-so? What do you think about so-and-so? And now you're just asking personal questions, and that's rude. Because you know Escape Route's going to be honest. Edgeworth is here, though. Some wonderful, silly questions. What do you think of Soy? I think he's a big jerk who wears awful shirts. You ask questions for an hour? Oh my gosh. You know what? Does that mean Alone in the Dark ended early? Or does that mean he got tired of it and decided to drink beverages and answer questions? I don't know. Anyway, Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is. That's right, it's Damon Gant. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. I don't think it is a good idea to ask streamers what they think of other people. It's not polite. It ended early because you cheated to unlock the chapter menu. That's okay. That's how you go. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. You're gonna awake Miss Fabia. She asked you to do so by the night, and because it's soy time. I think that's a good idea. In any event, Once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. What? But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. Lana's hiding something. The only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. It depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. Alright, he's gonna think about it. You think it's okay to ask opinions on people who probably won't give a monkey's who says what because they make hundreds of thousands on the TV or something? Is that what Escape Route does? He makes hundreds of thousands? In which case, I think I need to make a higher tier on my channel. See you in court, right? Now, I think it's time for a Nestea lemon iced tea. I think that is what it is time for. I have no doubt in my mind that it was time for that. No, 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 not like that. Donkey Kong. Alright, we're heading into court. There's a certain disconnect once it's someone outside the social circle, yes. Anyway. We gotta get our brain working inside the courtroom. In fact, here it is right now. Court is now in session for the trial of Ms. Lana Skye. Judge Old Man Draven presiding. Defense is ready. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. I'm sure you didn't mean to be rude. It is not your nature to be rude. That is not the sushi way. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. He wants to propose to Edgeworth, and there will be a wedding right here. I will officiate. Oh boy. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Archie, been back to the pool yet? What? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. I'm okay today. I started out, like, feeling really ill when I woke up, and it slowly got better. Although, I don't know. Maybe the allergy season has hit. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Uh-oh, proposal. Lana, that is to say the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. What? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. Yeah, it was a rough night. I don't know what it is. It's hot, and either from the temperature or from a warm cat. And also, you know, dreams have been getting weird lately. Not in a positive way. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. I don't trust where this is going. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? This is highly unusual. Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But oh my gosh. Got some video games, chocolate, poutine. Your usual stuff. You know, the usual sushi stuff. I hear you. Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me. It has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. Hello, Fabia. Just woke up and you're still a bit sleepy? Well. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. I don't... Okay. Gant has something. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial. Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. So this is how the game ends. Okay. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant...
Objection!
One moment, Your Honor. But Mr. Edgeworth... Your Red Bull will keep you awake. Good, good. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. Ooh, best boy. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Oh yeah, you gotta pull something out of the blue there, Sushi. No German Switch games, no poutines, no awesome possums. Something original that you've never asked before. Anyway, some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh? To whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Ms. Ema Sky. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to I don't care what you think, Ms. Sky. Ooh, best boy. Well, you can talk about poutine all you want, but someday, Sushi, you're gonna come up with something new in your repertoire. We're gonna see what it is. Instead of bringing up Schlagden Star and poutine every day, you might come up with something brand new. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? No, you don't ask Chief Gant. Worthy, you'll live to regret this, mark my words. A new type of poutine? Oh gosh. I'll bet you there's another game from his childhood he has yet to bring up. Miss Ema Sky, please take the stand. I assume she's here. You did recently talk about one pop star's juvenile song lately. Oh, darn. I want to hear more about this juvenile song, because there are a lot of juvenile songs out there. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Ema Sky. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister. That's an occupation. Sister. And I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Whap! That's the sound you make when you hit a fly with a newspaper. Hey, Evie, how's it going? You've been debating buying this collection on the Switch? Go ahead. You should buy it over and over again so that they make more games in the series. Come on, it's a song about clearly hitting insects in your house. It's fine. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. Whatever you say. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. I like that. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth. Sounds good. You're under the impression the next Ace Attorney is in development, but you can't remember why you think that? If it does come out and say for the Switch, I'll definitely buy it. A dose of Buckley. You know what? Forget a dose of Buckley. What you need is an actual dose of Buckley. Buckley's being a very awful tasting cough medicine in Canada. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. A stabbing. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here today listening to this testimony. A medicine can't be a music critic. What? I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Alright, he's setting me up for something. Okay. So I was waiting in my sister's office that day. Why? Where is Gant? I need $50. I want the $50. You stopped reading ahead? Good, escape route. I like that, but I want you to help me out maybe a little. I need your big, big, wonderful British brain. Escape route brain tish. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes. She was second in command under then Deputy Police... Chief of Police Gant. Yeah. Eardrops. Buckley eardrops? No, Buckley cough. Am I familiar with biker mice from Mars? Aren't they mice from Mars who ride bikes and wear leather? I know there's a Super Nintendo game of that. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Know what? I'll go make a lemonade. Alright, I'll stay here. Deputy Chief Gant and Ms. Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage. That man? Sushi Sunshine. No, a man. Joe Dark, aka Sushi Sunshine. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Skye and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Spirit of Justice. Cool. Neil Marshall rescued me. Objection. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh, did it come out already? Probably on mobile. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. As pictured here, Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. Well, it's out then. I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after dark. SoyBomb, after dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. Yes? I don't clearly remember what happened. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year, you know, when things get dark. Joe dark? There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed. Again outside. Biker mice, pizza cats. Did they ever make a Biker Mice from Mars game for, like, PS2? No. They were probably out of style as soon as they came in. Wow, I'm making progress. Hello, wizard. Remember, that sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. See. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. I'd like to hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago. Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. I want to see the picture. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Let me ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. Hey! Beep! Beep! Nick's a sheep! Oh, okay. Sure. I've only been playing for like 20 minutes, so it's not too bad. I haven't made that much progress in 20 minutes. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Actually, before that, I wanted to check something. Can I read this? What case number is this? I guess 5. I had my soul sucked out of me for a second. That's a daily thing. I didn't look at the back of this, but now that I have, I feel good about it. I have the evidence that I need. Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now, whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died, yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken? But I did draw it, I swear. I'm not just imagining it. Limburger? Limburger? That reminds me. Well, anyway, let's continue. The scene that imprinted an image on your mind. Can you please describe it to us? The man. Now hold on, I want to present something before I continue. I'm going to present this.
Objection!
Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? That's weird. Yeah, I'm not the bad guy here. Look at my hair. I'm like a trim Sephiroth here. All I'm saying is that, as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Limburger, that sounds good. Am I excited for the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection? No. I already have all 3 of those games anyway. I'm not rebuying those. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Oh, what's this? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it! That's the picture I drew! Indeed, 2 men appear to be wrestling here. Hola, Bubba. Como esta? The exclusion of Galaxy 2 is what breaks the deal. And I still have that game as well, so... What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? So, what were those games platforms? So, Mario 64 and the N64, Super Mario Sunshine for GameCube, and then Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii. Yeah, I think you've just gone French on me. Alright. You could say bueno. Muy bueno, if you will. It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These 2 lists fit together to form one. Alright, Fabia is awake and possibly with lemonade. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Now that I knew. That's right, Sushi, there sure was. And Galaxy 2 is not in the collection for reasons unknown. Order! Order! But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor? Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head! Lemonade and cheese sandwich? Sushi. Somebody else is a sandwich. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Woo! Woo! Baby, along your way. Is something wrong? Sorry, Your Honor. There's indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing! What? That's that thing! That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Was Mario Galaxy 2 ever re-released? Yes, you can get it on the Wii U. For $20 US. If you so desire. That's how I got it. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. Very well. Witness, will you please testify about the picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor, yeah. She's up to something. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. When it was released on the Wii U, was it released digitally? Yes, it was. I mean, I could play it on the disc, but no, it was digital only. That's how I got other good games like Punch-Out and Metroid Prime Trilogy and DK Jungle Beat. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Alright, well. I think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Prosecutor Neil Marshall, despite them not having faces. Yeah, they were cheap for the first week. Not all of them escape route. Yeah, I remember getting, so I got Mario Galaxy 2, Metroid Prime Trilogy, and Punch-Out, all for $10 each, which was great. However, there were some titles that they didn't do that for, like Skyward Sword, they didn't do that. So I paid money for that. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. You grab the ones on offer? Yeah, I grabbed the ones that were on offer immediately. I'm like, there's no way I can't take this deal. So I could stream a few of those games. Oh wait, I want to go back. Let's start with this. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. You couldn't imagine paying money for Skyward Sword? Well, hey, maybe I'm just bad with my money. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge. There are other games. Oh, what else did I get? I think I got Xenoblade Chronicles that way as well. But I think I paid regular price for that. I know I got DK Jungle Beat that way. I feel like there's something else. Or that might be it. Detective Goodwin was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. That's why. This reminds you of years ago, when you decided to digitally purchase Mario Kart 64. No, well... Does it not run in 60 frames per second on the N64? It should. So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who would come to your rescue. No. I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. What happened after the lightning flashed? Well, we'll find out. Skyward Sword is polarizing? My dad played it for a while, and he had nothing but complaints about it, so... You know what? It might, well... I don't know, I'll have to see. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? Wow, escape route. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning that only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. You've never played a Zelda game. Not so bad. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. There you go, Matzo. Not bad. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course. This is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? I'm gonna look at the picture again and see if something is bothering me. Well, yeah, why is the badger on there? The badger symbol was not there, like, 2 years ago. You didn't have the blue badger 2 years ago. It was very recent. Link's Awakening is one of your favorites, and the Switch version is a faithful remake. And I should stream that soon, but you know what? I got too many things to stream. Huh? Oh, well... Clearly a contradiction here, is there? Or the badger's on its side, or the guys are. Yeah. Why is the badger there? I want to find out more about the badger. Wait, you think I've never seen... Well... This evidence clearly reveals the contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly are that evidence and the statement just now related? What? But it's the picture! Okay. Wizard's gonna burst. What? No. The picture's on the thing that I just presented. Fine. You know what? Fine. You want to play like that? Oh, now I've got to go through it again. Well, here's the thing. There's this thing here. If I need help, I will ask for help. We've been over this. Like... Hold on, I want to look at... Well, I just said it. Like, okay, if you look at the picture there, what he's holding is, yeah... Now, it could be a very poorly drawn knife. Hold on, because if I look at the... Well, now, here's my big problem. My big problem is that I can't present something, like I can't present the picture itself. Do I present the knife? Or do I present this thing, which did not exist 2 years ago? Hey, Johnny and Bella. Because I don't want to make a mistake. It's not that, but... Now, I mean, we could also chalk it up to her just being a poor artist. I mean, it's not like this is great art. Like, I know, you folks want me to look at this because you're giving me hints when I didn't ask for it. But... I don't know if that's strong enough because... I mean, looking at the silhouette, it's not even that great of a drawing to begin with. Like, it's not an accurate drawing. I don't want to get pressed on that. No, you pointed out that I should focus on what he's holding. Now, in the one hand, he's holding a ruler, as Sushi pointed out, which I see that and I'm like, is he beating him with a baton, or is he using a knife? However, wait, did I actually give thoughts? Oh man, I can't remember my own thoughts. I have no clue what you're talking about, Wizard, but so anyhow. Hey, Jim. I mean, that's evidence here in that the knife tip was in the wound, so it would have been, like... She would have seen a knife tip on the edge of the knife here. I think the problem is I don't want to give the wrong evidence right now. Unfortunately, I can't even present the picture itself and point it out. Wizard, are you just telling me what to do? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. There's something... This is one of those cases from like a long time ago where I know what I want to present, but I can't do it the way that I want to. I have to do it the way they want to. Evidence that... What? Hold on. Look at the drawing again. Now pay attention to the portion. Now do this. Now pay attention to the portion that you received from Edgeworth. Well... Hold on. Hello, monster. Sorry I didn't say hello earlier. I was bad. You folks are reading ahead. That's so... Raven. I just don't want to present the wrong thing. I don't want to present the wrong thing, because that gets me in trouble. I want to actually point out... Wait, hold on. The drawing that I received from Edgeworth, well... Well, I know what you're talking about, but I don't want to do the wrong thing. I know it's this thing, but I don't want to present that. Because I don't want to do it wrong. Once again, Wizard's hints are not right. Well, okay, and you know what? Or are extremely early. Okay, okay, okay. Let's back it up. Let's back it up a little bit. I know that there's this. This is the knife that is drawn in the picture. However, the knife would have not looked like this when the flash of lightning took place. The tip of the blade should still have been on there in the picture. Yeah, but I didn't ask for hints yet, did I? That's one of the things that I noticed. Okay. And I'd love to present this. But it might get me in trouble if it's not the right thing. Additionally, if I look at this, the autopsy report, stabbed in the back... Hold on a second. Stabbed in the back, which I guess could work out. Knife... It said that the knife tip was in the wound. But according to that picture, there was no knife tip on the end of that. So do I want to submit the autopsy report? Or do I want to submit this knife? Well, I'm going to take a risk. It is a backstabbing. And that was not right, so I just lost another pair of points there. So it can't be that. Great. Alright, help me out. Help me out here. Give me a light hint. Give me a light hint. Not a heavy hint. Give me a light hint. Cause you don't feel like it now? Okay, then somebody else can do it. Something, like, I want to present something, and yet, well, I want to present the picture and point out something, literally. This is statement 4, right? Yeah. I'm just like, everything that I want to present, I can't. This picture show. Now here's the problem, I can't scroll up and look at the other part of the picture. This game is picky about the order. So now this part of the game, this picture here does not show the blue badger symbol above, so I'm not going to present that. Now, it's not this. Maybe I have to think a little. Is there a statement along the lines of the man raised his knife? Hold on. Let me go. Yeah, I think Wizard's trying to figure out where he is. No, I'm afraid not. So. I got nothing. I got nothing going on. Okay, I need a stronger hint on this. While I check on this. Alright. Autopsy report. Well, that's very straightforward. See, yeah, that makes sense. That's the. It was either the knife or this. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. Which I guess it makes more sense to do the autopsy report because it specifically mentions the knife tip. What? But I still remember it like, it was like, you know, yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Why, it would be this right here if I pointed in the right spot. He did it. He's guilty. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Ema.
Objection!
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! Alright, take care. Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right, but what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, Wright. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ugh. Oh, interesting. Order. Order in the court. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. Yeah. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. Yeah. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there was a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What? What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's? Could there have been one? Is there another broken knife that we don't know about? Could there have been a second broken knife? No, it's a screwdriver. Stabbed him with a screwdriver. No. I don't know. Well, if I choose wrong, I'm in trouble. I'm gonna poll the audience. What do you think? Do you think she's mistaken? Which I don't think. I think she saw what she saw, so I'm gonna go with there's another one actually, but that's weird. See, here's the thing. I don't believe either of those are true. Green light. I think Emo was telling the truth, and that there isn't another knife, but you refuse to comment because you know I read ahead. Oh, well. Alright. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Ema really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Blue Badger! No. Now, I do have another knife. I have another knife, but, like... I don't want to say it's that knife. Just look at all the evidence I have first. It was this! No. I only have one other knife, but I really don't want to. There's a tip on that knife. There's a tip on this knife, and the tip is still there. I don't think this is the knife that was used 2 years ago. I just don't think so. Now they're... Let's see what I can do with this. If anything's broken here, it's you. Huh? I'm sure this must all be very amusing to you, Mr. Wright. No. What? No. No, I agree with myself. You didn't let me explain, you old man. Alright, I want another hint, because I thought that would be right, because I'm like, where is the thing? Where is the sword on that? Now, maybe I need to present the actual photo here? You know what? I'm going for it. The answer lies in the past. 2 years. Yeah, okay. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony. Ah! What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife! Well, more like a sword, but okay. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case. The knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Sounds good. Order! Order! Order me another caviar lunch. I'm hungry. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife, sword, halberd. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be! Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors Award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean... this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Whoa! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Do you now? Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. Hold on. 1 sec. Nah, you know what? I'll wait. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. Well, I knew that. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. Well, that's true. Objection! Order in the court. Hello, Steph. You've come just in time to hear this great music. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Sky? Sounds good. Yes, Your Honor. You bought this collection? Yeah! Eevee power. Alright, let's see what you have to say. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. You did? Oh, well, I guess. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. Really? This is certainly most unusual.
Objection!
Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed. The chief of The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Hold it, whoa. Stop, please, don't pursue this any further. Oh, Lana, get out of here. Soy downtime. Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. Well, you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! Ooh, judge is getting pretty sharp now. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Yes! Detainment. Detainment hype! So let's see, what do we have here? When I saw that man raise his knife... When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark? Yes. At least I think it was him. Obviously trying too hard to avoid us finding out the truth. The truth. Lana, Sky, and Damon Gant are the same person. No, okay. You think? All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So then you... I panicked and rushed toward both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. The truth will set you free, Edom. But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that dark guy knocked me down, all I could think of was, I've got to help that other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean, you think? It all happened so fast. And I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. But I did. It's all kind of a blur. This guy was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next? Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger, which you didn't. Objection, you jackal! Hey, DK. What is up? Are you sure about this? Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him here. But It was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. What? His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? Your theory? Draven is here. Lana is covering for Gant. Soy and Steph know my suspicion of Gant. Why is she lying? Why is Gant lying? They both belong in prison as the lying scumbags they are. Objection! Hi Draven. That's right. But I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns.
Objection!
This is pointless. Yeah, I know. If only Gant lends the $50. We'll see. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation? Do I have an explanation for that? The Blue Badger is real and alive in all our hearts. No, that's not right. No, well, hold on. Now, hold on a second. Let me just check this. The witness can't see out of her crazy sunnies. She's not credible. Blue Badger is real, 2051. This is the biggest stretch? Oh dear. See, I almost wanted to say it was the jar, and then it crashed. Like, this would be the 3-horn thing. Except that doesn't make any sense. Maybe if it had a lid. Why doesn't it have a lid anymore? Like, escape route is... I mean, this has 2 horns on the side. And there may have been a lid to this jar, I don't know. It's just something weird that I'm thinking. Is it a stretch? That could be a stretch. That would be quite a stretch, to be honest. I don't even know if I believe it. I honestly don't even know if I believe that at all. But it's what I have. And, I mean, if I look at this... That's not a 3-horn thing, so... Okay. Escape route, I'm only gonna ask you this. This is a very specific question. Is this unstable jar the 3-horn thing that she saw? Did we figure it out yet? I'm just curious. Y-E-S. Okay, good. That's all I need. Do I have an explanation? You bet I do. If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. I just might know. That's ridiculous. It's not shaped like that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright. In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? It was Judge Old Man Draven in a jester hat. Please show us this mysterious Blue Badger look-alike. Why, it's none other than Captain Jar.
Take that!
The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? Got to show them the correct angle. Can I make it that? Although now it's got me wondering about that. Nah. That's not right, no. I feel like this would be the angle, wouldn't it? It looks like that. Maybe even that.
Take that! Objection!
What? Allow me to remind the defense its case hinges on the witness's drawing. What? I thought it was right. Well, could I rotate it round? Can I? Oh. Oh. Well. So the bottom horn is up. Is this a Vaz or a PS5? It's a Vaz. Okay, hold on a second. I'm not good at rotating things. No. Oh. See, here's the thing. It doesn't really look like that. How about that?
Take that!
No, that was right. That was totally right. What are you doing? Oh my gosh, are you that bad at this? That was fine. That was fine. Flip it upside down? Let's just flip it. See, I thought that would be fine. That was very close. Okay. So I gotta remember what I had before. Hold on. Like, this looks fine to me. Let's try this. That's not right. It's too tall. Directly upside down doesn't work. Dang. I know. Like, I want to say like that. That looks fine. That looks absolutely quite fine. Wait. I gotta get the ball just right. You gotta get the ball just right. Whoops, no, don't do that. There we go. Well, is this a miracle or what? You were sitting beside you, this is when you would snatch my controller? Well, thank goodness you're not sitting here, although maybe someday, but not today. No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger. But if I handed you my controller, it would probably get thrown across the room and hit a cat, which would not be preferable. Speaking of which, I just saw. Oh, there she is. No, it can't be! Order! Order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this... Although we all enjoy Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. Amora's fine. She's relaxing. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. It doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? Well, we do know the location now. Which we already knew. We now know the murder weapon. See, we already knew the location. It was in the office, but maybe a bit more specific, I suppose. The murderer? Well, we don't know that yet. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and if it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired, you see, Emma is the killer. No, I mean, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body? From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. Exactly. I'm proving nothing. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. You know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. Or have I? This is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more because I love it. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, it would have had to have been Neil Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? You're sweating profusely. Events took place as the defense theorizes, and the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? Murderer! No! That's not good. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So wow. So it was the witness who took the victim's life. And then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. Poor Ema. I know, I feel for her. Nobody even picked her up. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Ema? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. Ooh. She did the stabby stabby. How many times have my jokes become truth in this game? Many. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Ema did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. Huh. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me. You have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? We have this note scrawled in blood that said, I killed Neil Marshall? Ema? No. Evidence? I don't need any evidence. I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes. It certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify, but we sure can try. Hey everybody, it's me, Neil Marshall. No, we can't do that. We can't do ventriloquism. Not today. Not with this game engine. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Huh. Touché, Ms. Skye. Of course. It only leaves us with one possibility. Oh no. They're gonna bring back the dead. Sounds good. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life for some reason. In one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. Why do I have to prove that? I didn't come up with that theory. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? Does such a message exist? Does this message exist? Does this message exist? Let's look at this quickly. Although, no, it wouldn't make any sense, because why would Goodman's stationery be in that office? That doesn't make any sense at all. Okay. Anything on the back of the note? Wait, hold on. Anything on the back of this note? Why don't we check? Except I can't... They won't allow me to turn the back of that note, so that's not going to happen. However... there is this. This bears her prints. And what is this a piece of? I'm not even sure. Clear handprint on the leather cloth. Leather, as worn by Cowpoke, who claim to be from Texas but are actually from Los Angeles. Okay. tired of looking at that. Weapon found in wound was missing. Tip. That's true. No, that just seems odd. That's a glove. A message from the deceased. A message from Concerned Children's Advertisers. That is a screwdriver. I like this music. Anybody got any ideas? I would love to use that, but they don't want me to use that. Or do they? Maybe they do. You know what? I'm gonna stick with that until somebody tells me otherwise. I've got to think back to the court records. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. Maybe the jar has some info. To the jar! No, you're not gonna let me lose any health. Wait a minute. Does that say Ema? No. Oh, whoops. I did not mean to do that. You have an idea? Throw your ideas at me. See, it almost looks like they were trying to spell out Ema on there, which is kind of weird. It looks like they were trying to start an E and an M there. The jar seems interesting. 5 times, 3 times in this case alone. I want to submit the jar, but I don't want to lose any more health, because how much health do I have left? This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Alright, we'll stick with the jar, because people are saying the jar. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Ema of any crime. Bet it on Binks. There's only one thing we seek. The truth! No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys the message from the deceased. I have this tape recording of him saying, "It was Ema." No. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Was he just gonna speak? Did I choose the blue badger? No. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm like, what? Did I choose the wrong evidence and didn't notice it? Oh my gosh. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. Looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood. It's saying Ema. That's what you're saying. These dots were once lines. Use the stylus you don't have to connect the dots. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. The blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points. And the victim's message will become apparent. No! It's gonna say Lana Skye did it. And here's how she did it. The first thing she did was she grabbed a big pointy knife. And then she screamed, "Hey you terrible, terrible man, get out of my office before I turn you into seafood sludge." No, that would take too long. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Well, let's see. Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. Gotta connect the dots. There's only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Oh, gosh. I don't think I'm helping my case, to be honest. I feel like... This isn't going well. It's the defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. However, Emma is not my client, and I don't care. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Wait, there's still more space dust. How to cook for 40 Emas. Of all people, she may not have meant it. But in the end, the one who took the victim's life, not Anima, was Emma Skye. Oh no. See, Worthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. How do you get in here? Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? You don't get your 50 bucks, sorry. He's busy right now. Ask him later. Ah! Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. C.K. Cranky Kong. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Kind of is. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? What? What are you a defender of? Pies? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter, which is why I'm smiling, because I love sentencing people to death. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order! 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 Ordeer! The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Oh, why do you have to do it at this point? Oh no. Well. Oh no. What a turnabout. Alright. I like it when things end at the perfect time in a stream, and it didn't happen this time, so it looks like we're still going. Okay. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, yes I am. Whoops, I'll come back later. Oh, he disappeared again. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run all around while on duty. To top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this. If there ever was a break in today's trial. What? Evidence law. You must know the two rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. That's good. That's good to know. Can at least study some evidence law. Really? The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Well, I guess I'll need to give it a good read. In fact, why don't we do it now? Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. Well, too bad. I'm gonna read it anyway. Let's read. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. I love short books. Okay. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Uh-huh. Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth. The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Ema Sky found out she's unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? You like this book. Short and sweet. I love it. Straight into the point. You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him. Yes, we are. Time to bring it to an end. Okay. I'll be like back in about 5 seconds, maybe more. It's been more than 5 seconds. He lied to us. Unsubscribe, unfollow. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Ms. Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, took me long enough. I'm sorry, Fabia. I'll do better. This isn't easy to say. You see, there's some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. I had to turn on a lamp. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Sounds good. Okay, then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance? If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls... Bruce Goodman! No, wait, I can't. He's dead. Nah.
Take that!
Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. In fact, he's right there eating a big sandwich. What is going on now? He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Oh, crap. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. I was going to have a big sirloin. Your name and occupation, sir? Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, request to hear your testimony. Oh, right though, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There's still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that the police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Ah, nuts. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. Oh. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. I know, it's been a horrible week, and I don't know how I've coped. A lot of crying in the fetal position helps, but still. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see, everything seems pretty clear-cut. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. You slipped up. I want to know how you slipped up. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that knife went into his heart, though. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Oh dear. So you're saying the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. But moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're gonna stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker. Well, which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Gotta link Gant to the incident. Okay. Let me look at my evidence here. Now, he says he didn't forge anything. He must be telling the truth. I mean, he's a policeman. He's totally trustworthy. So, I have a couple of things here. I have the evidence list. And I have something in the safe. All the junk he had in his safe. And the desk. Nothing to do with the forgery. Well, here's the thing. I'd love to present this, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd love to present this. I'm not 100% sure. This, I know I'm going to need at some point because rule number 1 needs to be made clear to this guy again. So, I've kind of narrowed myself down to this, that. What else was in the safe? Well, the only two things that were in the safe were the piece of the jar and the cloth. The cloth we don't care about, so how about this? You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. Oh gosh. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Wizard is back. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh? That's not what you call the judge. Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. Doesn't fit Rule 2 of evidence law. Dodged a bullet. And as we all remember, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. But it is totally relevant because he had hidden evidence. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery. Who, me? Or do you mean you? What? Wait, what? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Oh no, you are not going there. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, though? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Word be my boy, not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If his salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Great. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Yeah, I hear you. I'm bad at it. Let's see, what was it now? HR fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. I hear you on that. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Ooh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Udgy. In return, though, I know. That place, right? Alright, let's see what we got here. Could I have planted them in your office? I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Did he tip a cow? He tipped a cow! Yes, he tipped a cow. I slipped him like 20 bucks. Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Wright those prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. Crudler. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, right though? It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were okay, so let's see. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Come now, Wright, though. Think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Really? How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent! Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, despite myself being a judge in a murder case. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Ema Skye. Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Kant? At the very least, there's one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh? The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, oh, oh! Merry Christmas. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. Who's going to be made chief anyway? Ah, be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. Okay. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Now hold on. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. Hello, Ultimate Sunflower. Welcome. There, it's out in the open now. Gee, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. A little more about this. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. Okay. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. Right, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. I don't like the voice anymore. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, oh. Oh, oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Well, true, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. You came here from Henry Stickmin. Who's that? You've got your notes? You have notes? You have notes? You've got notes. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. Well, very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Now,
Take that!
Wright, oh my boy, the look on your face is almost enough to motivate even me to help you out. That wasn't it? Then I hope it's Lana. Then it better be Lana. It better darn well be Lana then. Oh gosh. I did that wrong. But I guess it's Lana. Alright. Let's try this again. Capcom Pro friend? Emo was the one forging evidence? Well, no. Well, no, he was forging evidence, but he was helping somebody, wasn't he? Let me just read this again. Point out accomplice. But if it would benefit, you might decide to assist someone. So that's why I thought he was assisting Ema, because, well, she's probably the one that benefits the most. Mr. Wright. Alright. Then I guess I'm going with Lana. It's not any of these people. No way.
Take that!
Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. The defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Ema Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. What am I playing this on? I'm playing this on the Switch. As this is available on the Switch. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? As for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. Ooh. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Dang it, Judge. Come on. Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Oh my gosh. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motivation and motive to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you can control her. Right, oh my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless... that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Or which one would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Oh dear. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? 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 Order! Order! Order, I said! Ordeer! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's, impossible. Okay, you're controlling the judge too, aren't you? Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier-to-understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Sounds good. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? The chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. A swarthy man. Oh, good old escape route. Escape route. Best boy. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. It better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Now, here's the thing. This was his shoe! No, I'm just kidding. I gotta be careful on this. Oh, wait well... There was this. No, I don't want to use the badge. I want to use this because... this has his number on it. I wasn't going to use the badge. I haven't talked about this yet. Am I on the right track with that? I feel like the answer is yes. That is a legitimate question. There's this. There's also that handprint of Ema's that he had in his safe, but we'll save that for later. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. All those sevens. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that it's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits. You don't mean... Afraid so, Your Honor. The code was all those 7s. Same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Guilty! 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 Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Oh, he's getting mad. Nothing. He's getting mad. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. Now here's the thing. Illegally obtained evidence could not be normally used in court. You enter the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. That's an interesting choice of words there, man. Just please don't go in the evidence room. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Oh, of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Gant on the day of the crime. Well... What have I? The blue bat, no. That's not even the right one. I'm not looking at that video again. Don't make me do it. There's one thing that's good. Well, wait a minute. The locker was already open. Well, that's it. No, well, I regret doing that. I took chat advice. Didn't work out entirely. Alright, escape route. Throw it at me. I don't want to lose all my points. I want to read a little more. But I feel like maybe, and you know, while you're talking there, I'm not going to look at the chat just yet, but if this was found in the muffler, this would have come out of the evidence room, would it not? Why Goodman? Goodman couldn't get into the room because he didn't have his ID card. Well, that's true. No, no! I'm thinking too hard about that. No, that was not. No, oh no, bad. That was not right. That was not right. I need something else. The victim went to meet Chief Gant. Why? Well, the only other thing would have been this here. I'm right, but Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. See, here, my thinking on that was, why would he go to see the chief and then write the report and then take the report to the chief? Why wouldn't he just write the report and then take it to the chief? Doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police, but it wasn't finished, so he wouldn't have given it to the chief of police. What? Something's not spinning in my head here, but okay. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Whoa! Ooh, I didn't expect that. Why did he transform into some sort of weird vector-based fractal? What's going on? Chief Gant, you didn't! The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime. For no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Damon is shorthand for demon! Whoa. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office's parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. Oh, what would that be? How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant use this! No, not that. What did he use? Well, the glove was still there. He used a screwdriver and stabbed and poked him on his way. How do you move an entire body? No. Well... I want to say this. No, don't, I'm not. Use knife, don't. I almost want to say this. Maybe he stole a car too. Why not? How do you think a car does it? How's that run by you, escape route? Does that feel good? Use the taco. No, that's a peak-free cookie here. You're on thin ice here, Soy. You're right, I am. No, actually, I'm on a hardwood floor, but thank you. Thank you for... thank you for that. If you almost want it, you almost gotta. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. A parking stub? Miles Edgeworth? You mean... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. No, actually, Damon Gant has the exact same build as Will Powers, donned the Steel Samurai outfit, and never mind. Bamboo? You're on bamboo? That's kind of... You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. But wait, even you know I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me, why? Ah! I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less. Is that why he got the award in the first place? Ooh! He told me he wanted me to keep the screwdriver, too! Ooh! In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. He called me all the way over to bring me a screwdriver from an unrelated case. So you see, What you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? What? Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice. Ms. Lana Sky Point! Order! Order! Order in the court! Corain channeling technique. Well, that could work too, but I don't think that's in this game. What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Why is the judge saying all this stuff? Think back to the photograph Ms. Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It was a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe... Your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're gonna make it in time for the early bird special. You know I like my liver with extra onions. Hey, he might have. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're gonna just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Ms. Sky dispose of his body? Do I? Do I? Do I? Not that. I guess I have to focus on the current case and not the past case, but... I want to say something about the evidence locker. Because it was open. You know what, Wizard? You're going to explode. I'll take the help that you're going to give me. Remember, the ice isn't getting any thinner. That's true. I want to point out the open locker. But no, I can't. Actually, no. I'm not willing for that yet. But I do want to look at one thing. No, that's not it. That's not it. Oh. What I want is that other picture. If you had evidence to pin the crime on Gant, this would already be over. So I'm guessing the answer is I don't have evidence right now. I might have to do a little more investigation, won't I? Oh dear. This is pre-blood. He looks happy by his stabbing. Alright, I guess I have no evidence. Alright. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. Huh. C-O-G? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, right, though? Seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Udgy, I'll leave the rest to you. And I will disappear into thin air. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. Wah! Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has already, invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Huh. Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth Lady No.
Take that!
The defendant, Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task? To dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's a threat. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Oh boy. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Oh yeah? Well, yeah. Okay. If there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief! Who's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe! Hahaha, I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Ah, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office! My office? Sure! I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Oh, I guess she was top-knotted. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant stoned again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything, too? Oh, hey, Ema. Ema, are you okay? Hey, Ema! Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. Okay. Ema, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know what's funny? I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean, to follow Chief Gant's orders? She must have shut herself up deep inside to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Emo, why don't you wait No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. And you know what else it's time to end? This stream. But guess what? The exciting conclusion of this entire game is going to happen on Monday. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you for the assistance. And so, be sure to like and subscribe if you have not done so already, so you can keep up on all the soy goings on. Don't forget that I have a stream tomorrow, and it's going to be even longer than this one. Monday. Okay. Monday is a holiday for me. So, we're going to finish this off to the bitter end. And hopefully, I get to use that Gant accent again, because it's one of my favorites. I also like Lotta Heart. But anyhow, have a good night, everybody. Don't eat any wooden nickels. Ah!